we're talking to Patrick Holford about getting 100% healthy. Now, last week, 2 viewers contacted the show asking for Patrick's help to help turn their lives around. Let's hear from our first candidate now.
Hi, I'm Una Murray. I'm 36 years of age. I have been overweight for most of my life, for as long as I can remember anyway. So I've tried different diets throughout the years. I was successful once for a little while, but couldn't maintain it, so ended up putting all the weight back on and then some. So I've got to the stage now where, as I say, I'm 36, I'm fed up. I don't want to spend the second half of my life overweight as well. It does hold me back for different reasons.
Okay, Una, before we can help you, before Patrick can help you, we've decided to come out and see what you're eating on a daily basis, because you're up to about 17 stone now, is that correct? Okay, because I see the crisps here. Yeah. You didn't hide them today.
Would you believe me if I told you they were for my son?
Oh, right, okay, okay. Well, look, show us your, I suppose, food cupboard and what would be your daily meal plan.
Energy is my big problem,
yeah. So what are you eating? Let's say, start off for breakfast. What are you having for breakfast?
Crunchy nut cornflakes. Sugar-based cereals. I'm really sweet toothed and I don't like a lot of the healthy cereals. I've bought fruit and fibre. It's probably out of date by now because I haven't managed to get through it.
So you like the crunchy nut cornflakes? Would you have 1 bowl or 2 bowls or?
I would have 1 big bowl.
Okay.
But the problem with that is then a couple of hours later I'm really hungry.
So what do you have on then next?
I'll tell you what I do, right? I will stock up on my healthy foods. I'll have fruit in the fruit bowl, which is thrown out on a weekly basis. So I'm not very good. I'm good at buying the stuff and with the best of intentions, but I'm not always very good at following up. But I do eat probably the wrong foods in the sense that I eat a lot of white bread, which I know doesn't agree with me because I get very bloated afterwards. So I've stopped over maybe the Lowney in the last week. I've stopped eating the white bread and I bought the brown and the rye, which...
How's that going?
I'm struggling a little bit with the rye bread, I have to say. It's very difficult to eat the rye bread.
I'm your sister there.
Yeah. Just like mayonnaise would be a big thing for me, and the real butter as well.
How many slices of bread would you have a day?
Probably about 4. I'm an awful one for after dinner. I always feel like something sweet, so I'd go for a biscuit or a chocolate bar or something like that.
Yeah.
And sometimes between lunch and dinner.
Another sneaky bar.
Another sneaky bar.
Sneaky bars.
Sneaky bar chocolates. Una Murray joined us on the couch this morning. Good morning to Una. Thanks for coming back after you rifled through your...
She's looking guilty after that sneaky chocolate bar.
I had them well hidden and she found them in the fridge.
Well, I went through your daily plan. I mean, it's the pasta, it's the bread, it's the 2 takeaways a week, the sneaky Chinese you were telling me, the chocolate bars, and the fact that you say your energy levels are completely gone. You're tired when you wake up in the morning. You're tired all the time, really, and you just want to change your life before you know things get worse.
Definitely. Yeah.
I think you're actually addicted to sugar in one form or another. And what's happening is your blood sugar keeps dipping. Okay. So when you wake up in the morning, you have no energy because your blood sugar is low.
Right.
So you're learning with cereals and breads, whatever it is, to get your blood sugar up. And if you eat my low-GL diet, that will go literally in a matter of days. So I want to ask you, if you woke up 100% healthy, if the fairy godmother of health waved her magic wand, and now you were 100% healthy, how would you know?
I'd have loads of energy. You know, I'd bounce out of bed, have energy for anything during the day. My asthma's probably got a bit worse and my breathlessness over the last couple of years, so I'd like to see an improvement in that. And I'd be a size 12.
And do you have any other aches and pains?
I have my knee. I did damage the cartilage years ago, and sometimes I would get pains in my left knee. And I don't doubt that that's the pressure of the weight that's on it.
Well, it's not just that, because what happens is as you start to lose your blood sugar control, the body goes into a state of inflammation. And inflammation basically means redness, swelling, pain. And there are many foods that reduce inflammation. So as well as recommending for you, I've got lots of goodies to give you. I'm going to give you my book to start with.
Great, slowly, thank you.
And I'm going to recommend you to eat all these low GL foods and always eat protein with carbohydrate. Let me give you an example here. If you are hungry and I give you an apple, honestly, does it satisfy you?
No.
No, not me, no.
Okay.
Probably you, but...
you know, but it's strange, isn't it? Because if someone says, would you like another apple, you'd probably say, No, thanks, I've had enough apple. But if you eat an apple with a few almonds, probably a food you'd avoid because you think they're fat, protein with carbohydrate, you actually won't have that sort of empty feeling. So I'm going to have you always eat protein with carbohydrate. On the table here, on the left, are foods that reduce inflammation. So my goal for you, by the way, is to lose 6 stone. It takes 8 months to lose 6, and we're going to come back in the new year. So by then, my goal is for you to lose 3 stone, have no asthma, no knee pain. But the foods that encourage inflammation more, I'm not saying they're bad foods, but they do this, is meat, red meat particularly, milk, and also sugar. While the foods that reduce pain and inflammation are fish, and particularly the fish that eat fish, so salmon, herring, mackerel, kippers. Do you ever eat kipper?
I don't eat fish at all.
Do you eat fish at all?
I eat tuna with mayonnaise.
Okay. well, we might have to work on this a little bit. Red onions are fantastic. Don't buy the white ones, buy the red ones. They reduce inflammation.
They're also gorgeous.
Yeah, they're very good.
Yeah.
Olives. You know, if you have an aspirin or something, it's got that slightly bitter taste, you know, at the back of the throat. Yeah. And you know, if you have a good olive oil, it has the same effect. Olives actually have a natural painkiller. And ginger is very good. Mustard is fantastic. Turmeric is very good. So I'm going to start to give you foods that will reduce pain. Actually, I met recently the financial director of Merrill Lynch. He used to be very rich. I think his bonus is a bit less. And he said, I have a lovely life, except, you know, that my one passion is to play golf. You know, he said, Patrick, do you play golf? I said, no, I'm still sexually active. But he said, I cannot get from my house to my car without being in extreme pain. And it would embarrass me if I told you how much I've spent. And I said, read my book, Say No to Arthritis. This is a new book that's out this week. I told him what to do. He read the early edition. 6 months later, I meet him on the way to play golf at St Andrews. He says, I've had 95 to 100% total relief of my knee pain. I need no painkillers. I need no drugs. It's gone. So when you start...
By eating all these
anti-inflammatory foods and by controlling your blood sugar.
Right.
The two are very, very much connected. So what I'm actually going to do is I give you the book. I'm going to give you the vitamins that I take. I'm going to give you something which contains cinnamon and chromium. Chromium is an essential mineral that is needed for insulin to work. And insulin is the hormone that controls your blood sugar. When you lose insulin control, by the way, you end up with diabetes.
Okay.
And next year, statistically, 1 in 6 people over 40 will have diabetes. It's a really high level.
Okay, that's scary.
And cinnamon also helps blood sugar. So do you like cinnamon?
I actually do, yeah.
I mean, you know, put it on anything you can.
On my apple tart.
Put it on your apple tart. And apples is actually pretty good.
Okay.
So this book gives you recipes for making desserts. So you can have tarts, you can have cakes, you can have desserts.
Brilliant, okay.
But not, you know, every day.
Okay.
Well, that's Una sorted for now.